My beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Joyce Anyanwu. Yes, my people, I brought to you another one today in politics news. Hey, today we'll be following channel TV, the program on Sunrise Daily. You know, they are still on this debate of Tinubu media chat. You know, a lot of controversies have been raising, or a lot of people have said a lot of things. Some said they are praising Tinubu that he did well, while some are giving him a thumb down, that nothing, he did not do anything. Is everything he came out to talk about is jargon, you know. So, my beautiful people, our Obonge journalists in Channels TV will be chatting with Kenneth Okonkwo on Mr. Onokpasa. I hope I pronounced that name well. So, my beautiful people, let's just listen what Kenneth Okonkwo. All of us know that anytime Kenneth Okonkwo is in the studio, we are expecting Boza Boom, especially when it concerns this APC government, this present APC government. Kenneth don't want to hear, he don't want to see. He always speak that hatred with passion. So, my beautiful people, before I talk too much, let's just listen to these two gentlemen, what they have to say about the media chat of President Tinubu. Thank you.
Otherwise, we are headed for slippery slopes.
Coat according to your size, says Mr. President. I do find that with that particular phrase, many people don't quite understand how that works. Do you cut your coat according to your size or according to your cloth? Because if I was going to talk about saving or living according to your means, it means that you should cut your coat according to your cloth. So if your cloth is not enough to make a suit, you can make shorts with it. That's how I see it in my head, but maybe you think differently about it. But joining us to discuss some of the things the president said and more, joining us live in the studio, Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo is here, legal practitioner, former spokesperson of the Labour Party, and columnist. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you, viewers, for joining in.
And joining us via Zoom is Mr. Jesutega Onokpasa, a lawyer and APC chieftain. Thank you so much for being with us on the program, sir.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to start off with Mr. Okonkwo. Let's talk a bit about this presidential broadcast, this media chat. It's the first time he's done it since he came into office. Some people have said there's kudos for that. At least gathering the media together. Our very own Malkwe Ogun Yusuf was there. You saw her asking him that question about the removal of fuel subsidy. Should it have been tapered, she said. And he said, why? Why should it have been tapered? And they said, well, maybe some kind of contingency plan. And he said, what contingency? What are your thoughts on that particular conversation?
Well, it's very regrettable. First and foremost, in a democracy, which requires transparency and accountability to the people, a president is having the first presidential chat 19 months after taking over power. That's about 40% of his presidency. 19 months is about 40% of the 4-year term of a president. We have to stop all this nonsensical giving kudos to failures. For 19 months, you've not been able to tell Nigerian people what you have been doing. And you started doing wrong things from the day you were sworn in.
But he has been speaking. He has done briefings. He has been giving speeches. He's been explaining himself since he came into office.
Democracy is not about your talking to the people. It's about your being interrogated by the people. Yes. The Constitution says the participation of the people in their government shall be ensured. The people participate through their representatives, both from the media, both from any policy you want to do. has to be interrogated by the people. Democracy is not just about doing what is good for the people, it is also about doing what the people want. Now, let's come to the nitty-gritty of the presidential media chart. There were about 4 major branches of what he said. Talked about the stampede, talked about cost of governance, talked about corruption, talked about the tax reform bill. These are about the major areas. About the stampede, this president shifted all the responsibility to the organizers, people who wanted to help people who are hungry. Let me tell you, this stampede happened in the east, it happened in the west, it happened in the north. That means it's now a general thing that Nigerians from all sectors are hungry and things are hard. They did not die in stampede because they were poor. Poverty exists in every country. They died in a stampede because they were desperately hungry. In other words, they know that if they don't have that food, they don't even have anything to fall back in their house. And that is why they had to struggle for 5,000 naira and for grains of rice. The worth of life in Tinubu's government is now about 5,000 naira and it's about grains of rice. Look at what happened in Abuja, in the Catholic ministry. They've been doing that for decades. They've been doing that for years. Why is today's own different? It is different because people have become desperately hungry. When people say negligence of the people organizing it, people that were expecting like 500 persons and they saw 5,000 persons, they wouldn't have reasonably assumed that 5,000 persons will come. And when the 5,000 persons came, they would have been able to organize themselves if they were not desperate. But because they were desperate, they did not wish to ever live there without having anything. Having seen that more people came, they knew that some people would live there without anything. So they had to now struggle to make sure that they are part of the beneficiaries. That is a sign of a failed state, struggling and dying for the most basic necessity of life, food. When the president visited Lagos the first time, his own people started it. We are hungry, sir. And he said things are well. His dim-wit fellow people that are serving him will go to him and say things are well. And when he neglected those signs, by August, the whole nation, they were protesting for hunger and hardship. They neglected it. In December, people are now dying of stampede for food for 5,000 naira. Now, and he said, it is the fault of the organizers, fault of the people that want to help. You are incompetent government that cannot cater for the security and welfare of its people. Now again, let's move into the issue of cost of governance.
We'll get to the cost of governance, but I want to get Mr. Onokpasa to respond to that. Mr. Onokpasa, well, Mr. Kenneth has said he's finding some issue with the president's views on the stampede. Where do you stand?
Well, the stampede is most unfortunate. May the lives that were lost, may their souls rest in peace. I think the real problem is that we have just failed for our citizens. You know, when we are campaigning for this administration, the people were calling us Agbadurians, you know, because our president was always talking about producing food. Unfortunately, we don't seem to be able to produce the food, you know, and you just have to accept that's our fault, you know. The good thing about agriculture is that you can plant a crop today and harvest in 3 months, in 6 months, in 1 year, you know, and try to convince our president just to concentrate on food production. Even if we cannot reduce the price of fuel or whatever else, let our people have food to eat. Let our citizens have food to eat. You know, Kenneth is trying to be overly political about the matter. That's just who my dear brother Onokpasa is. Okay. May their souls rest in peace. You know, and it's a shame that we have allowed prices to skyrocket, especially of food. You know, of food. Let people just have food to eat. That's my take on it.
I mean, that's a very interesting dynamic. I mean, an admission, because you are a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, that is an admission of failure, you know, and one that I think you're standing by.
No.
Because what you said in the beginning of this conversation was, we have failed. What did I hear it wrongly? He said, we have failed to provide food for our people, and that is just it. That was what you said. So are you admitting that as a party in governance, when it comes to food production for the Nigerian people, has the party failed?
Yes. No. Because we did not concentrate on food, on providing food for our citizens. Because we did not.
I mean, I'm still hearing the same thing from you, Mr. Okonkwo. We'll get back to you, Mr. Onokpasa, on that, but that does sound like an admission of failure.
Well, you know, I so much enjoy my brother Onokpasa because he seems reasonably, honest. You know, I used the word failure, I think, about once, and he used the word failure about 5 times. So, and yet he said I'm political. And actually, he echoed, more than myself. But having said that, God forbid that I will play politics with the destiny of Nigeria.
Because that is what the All Progressive Congress accused opposition. Actually, it was the PDP that they were responding to.
Yes,
and they said you're playing politics with this.
Yes, that is the cheap blackmail that failures always do. Rather than addressing the issue, they shift the responsibility. Have you ever seen this government? When they say they take responsibility, I wonder which responsibility. The worst statement the president made in the presidential chart is scoring himself excellent. He said he has done excellent job. The man that is staying with me in this studio is an Agbadorian. And he said we have failed. Was that not an admission that this president has done the worst job by any president since independence? And I always place my facts on the table. What are the facts on the table? This president, in the last 12 months, we have had national grid collapse for more than 12 times. It has never happened in Nigerian history, meaning the power is not accessible, it is not available, it is not affordable. This president, between October and November, and this is a president that is priding itself or himself that security has improved. More than 2,496 people have been murdered and about 1,757 persons kidnapped between October and November. This is a president in that presidential chart said we should cut our cloth, according to him, according to his body. But thank God you have said good. Now, this is the president that is driving the most expensive car in the history of presidents of Nigeria, limousine beast, that cost Nigeria almost ₦1 billion. This is the president that had a presidential jet working, but he went for a new one, ₦150 billion. And this is the president that is saying, cut your cloth according to your size. So in the area of what has he excelled? To award himself excellent.
Let's find out what Mr. Onokpasa, was the president right to score himself excellent?
Well, no, I must admit that, because I must just admit that it was not right, because we ought to be able to feed our citizens, and it's very, very easy to do that. You just you simply just get the people to go to farm. You mobilize them to go to the farm and produce food. And unfortunately, we've not been able to do that. And that is even us in our party. We feel a bit bad about what that our president has not been able to mobilize Nigerians to produce food for our citizens.
You do seem very. I'm listening to you right there. You do seem very saddened and like Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo said, reasonably honest in your assertions this morning. What would you think? What would be a score? What would be the score? Because what the president did yesterday was score himself excellent. What would be your score for his governance style this year, at least?
Well, I can't. I'm a Catholic, Kayla. I'm a Catholic, and we have not done well. That's the truth. Simple.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll get back to you. An admission there from Mr. Onokpasa. He's an APC chieftain saying we have not done well. Is that a step in the right direction? At least if someone from the party, from the All Progressives Congress, is saying, look, we haven't done well. Is that a step in the right direction at least? Maybe we're on the road to recovery, maybe.
If the president has been listening to the Onokpasas of this world, he would have been performing better in office. But he's listening to people who are telling him he's excellent. And he will come to the whole world to be saying he's scoring himself excellent on the graves of about more than 70 persons that died on the eve of that score to himself because of food. What is the level of conscience that we need for a man to be compassionate for his people? Look, the facts are there. Facts are sacred. This same president, when he was told about corruption, how to fight corruption, he said, oh, I will fight corruption. We are fighting it. How? We increase the wages of the people. Oh, we are allowing people to go to school, education. Let me tell you, corruption since the fall of man in Garden of Eden is innate in human nature. And the only thing that can deter people from being corrupt is deterrence, punishment for corruption. This president has just revealed that he does not intend to punish anybody that is corrupt in his administration. The only thing that will make him to punish anybody is when you are no longer loyal. And it's happened with the humanitarian ministry. I was here when I told you it was optics. How many months now? Have those people been tried? You suspended, you removed. Has that person been tried? Now, when he talked about he is increasing the wages of people, when this president came in, the minimum wage in Nigeria was $60 per a person. Today is about $46 per person, less than $2 a day. And then you're talking about you're fighting corruption by increasing minimum wage, when actually the value of the minimum wage has reduced. That means he is actually increasing the propensity for corruption. Because you talk about currency, not in the quantity of it, but in the quality of it. $1 has remained $1 since I was born. The value of it changing maybe about 6% or 10%. More than 56 years of my existence on earth. In 1984, We could pride ourselves that $1 was equal to 1 naira. Today, 1,900, it reached that point, was equal to $1. So we have failed about 1,900% times since that time. And there is a president sitting down telling you he's excellent. Now, let me tell you about the subsidy that he talked about. Petrol price is not 1,000 naira because of removal of subsidy. When subsidy was removed, the price came to about 517 naira to per liter. What cost the per liter fuel to reach 1,000 something is the devaluation of the currency. Now, economically, any president that is sound economically, you do not devalue your currency when you are a net importer of resources. When he devalued that currency, Nigeria was importing 100% of refined products. It meant was that you have made your importation more costly than your exportation. And then even the government could not afford that price. That was why they had to introduce some kind of subsidy again. They removed it completely. But because of the devaluation of Naira by more than 300%, from about 500 Naira to 1,700, and it jacked up the price of fuel to about 1,000, more than 1,000. So the issue here is that there is a government that is lacking in knowledge, in economics, in emotional intelligence, and in reality. They are living in alternate universe. The problem with this government is that they are bold to take decisions, but they want to extort all the sacrifice from the people. So when they made the mistake of the devaluation, they allowed the whole impact of their mistake to fall on the people.
I want to be able to...
People are paying through their nose for the incompetence and corruption of this regime.
I want to be able to get what the president said. Let's just listen to him when he talked about palliatives. Let's listen to what the president had to say about that.
It is very sad that people are not well organized. We just have to be more disciplined in our society. Okay. Condolences to those who lost the family members. But it is good to give. Every society, even in America, they have food banks. They have hungry people. In Britain, they have food bank. They have warehouses. They are organized. They take tokens to be in line and take turns to, to collect. It's unfortunate. We just have to. It's a reflection in our bus stops where we don't even want to be on queue before we rush into the vehicle. It is very sad, but we continue to learn from our mistakes. To me, I see this as a very grave error on the part of the organizers. But things are improving. It doesn't kill our happiness for this season. It should be. We should just get on with it.
I mean, I think those were the words that really got you upset in the beginning of our conversation. And I think in many ways, those words from the president have affected Mr. Onokpasa in a way where he couldn't do. The Mr. Onokpasa that we know would have been a strong defender, and he's admitting, saying, no, this was not good. He didn't like it very much. At the time, you also mentioned, the president's stand on the cabinet reduction.
Oh, yes.
Because that was one of the conversations that was had. I think it was Mr. Babajide Titoju who asked him yesterday, how are you going to reduce cost of governance? This cabinet is one of the biggest. I know you've done some reductions before. Are you going to reduce it a little bit more? And he said no.
First of all, he never did any reduction. He had 48 ministers coming in. When he removed 5, he replaced it with 7. So the issue here is that, like I told you, there is a president that is living in alternate universe. He said we must learn to live within our means. We should not be spending more than we are producing. How can a government in a capitalist economy think about bloating cabinet as as the explanation for efficiency?
Well, he says they're performing optimally. Those were his words. They're performing optimally. Everyone there.
Good. That is where I hold the journalists that interrogated him very responsible. Because when he said that, he even dared them to give him an example of one minister that is not performing. And I just told you about a minister. We've had 12 national grid collapse. In 12 months, it has never happened. If that is performance, then it is regrettable. Now, the issue about cost of governance. In a capitalist nation, a minister's role is more of regulatory because he doesn't go there to do it. There is private ownership to means of production. What are you doing with 3 ministers in agriculture alone? And people are dying because of food. You have just bloated the bureaucracy, spending money on people that are doing nothing. What are you doing with about 16 ministers of state? That is assistant to minister. And you're giving them the largesse.
They won't agree with you.
Of a minister. I am saying it.
They won't agree with you.
Because minister of state means that there is a substantive minister. That's the only reason you say minister of state.
We'll get to that, but I think we're joined by Dr. Taufik Rahimi, development expert and business economist and policy analyst. Mr. Rahimi, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Kela.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kela. Good morning, Nigeria.
Talk to us a little bit about the president's speech. You've been listening to us talking about his stand on the palliative situation and the stampedes. And then now we've moved into the size of his cabinet and his statement yesterday that he's not going to be reducing that cabinet anytime soon. And basically that they're all performing optimally. What do you think about that?
Yeah, by way of simple encapsulation, I will say that the presidential chart heard yesterday came to me as one that is very assertive. The president, His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, spoke with a lot of boldness, confidence, and focus on his Renew Hope agenda. He delved into what he has achieved so far in the last 18 months. He also talked about what currently is at work. And he also mentioned that there are quite a lot of hope for Nigeria to believe in, moving forward. He talked about how insecurity has greatly reduced. He cited the example of our citizens being able to travel from one place to the other, particularly on Kaduna Road. He also mentioned about his decision to remove oil subsidy and the effect of that already that his administration has recorded. He also talked about the issue of ministers, the size of his cabinet, which you are just talking about now, that he rooted his decision to retain them based on 2 factors, efficiency and effectiveness. The president gave quite a lot of confidence as regards other things that his administration has been doing. So I want to believe, honestly, I'm convinced that the president seems to have settled down to the job. Of course, he was prepared for the job. Now he has gotten the mandate, and he has seen some of the challenges that the countries are facing from being an insider rather than looking at it from the outside. So I want to believe that the president's speech rekindle hope among most of Nigerians. Now, definitely, Are there areas I'm expecting more? Yes, of course. I'm expecting that there will be enough strategies, effective strategies, realistic strategies towards achieving most of the laudable plans that he has mentioned. So some of these I would want to see ease of doing business being enhanced in 2025 and moving forward.
Dr. Raimi,
Yes.
he scored himself excellent in his performance as president. Do you agree? Is that a justifiable score?
First of all, having been an insider, and he knows the problem he inherited from previous administration, and he knows what he has done, and perhaps he also knows, is convinced about the plans that he has moving forward. He may have judged himself excellent, especially when he talked about, I think where he used the word excellent, was especially when he talked about having not had recourse to NMPC in the last 3 months to collect money, which means that he has stabilized our reserve. He has also created enough, he's growing our revenue base. So I want to believe that I think he has scored excellent in a number of his agendas. Of course, there are also a number of, some other areas that are work in progress. If you look at the Minister of FCT, the infrastructure work that is already ongoing in the last 18 months, you will say that his administration has scored excellent. If you look at some of the foreign trip he has made and the gains that we are beginning to record in terms of inflow of
So, my beautiful people, welcome back. Yes. Tinubu media chat is giving everybody heat. People have been talking about it. A lot of people have been, he didn't do well. Why some people are, giving him kudos that he did well. But everybody knows. I don't want to talk about the last guy that was talking because he was just repeating everything that, I wanted to hear more. But to my own, I find out that he was just repeating everything that Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo and Mr. Onokpasa has just said. Okay, now I can pronounce the name because I've seen the spelling. Onokpasa, yes. So, my beautiful people in the house, what did you think about this chat or about this conversation? Please drop your own thought in the comment section. Let's interact together. Yes, we have heard what Kenneth Okonkwo has just said. All of us knows Kenneth. When it comes to this kind of things, he don't joke with them. He don't joke with them, especially this Tinubu administration, this Tinubu government. When it comes to this, Mr. Kenneth doesn't even joke. So what I will be talking on is this Mr. Onokpasa. Yes, we know Kenneth has made the fact, and that is what has been happening in Nigeria. Yes, as I earlier said, the only point I would take from what Kenneth said, he has said everything exactly the way it is. But you see, there's a point that really caught my attention that says that in democracy, you do what people want you to do because people put you in that position. And in my last video, I made mention of that, yes, because they elected you and put you in that position, except you just enter that position by your own self, because you know that people that put you there, you have to please them, you have to make them happy, not the other way around. So according to Kenneth said Tinubu has been in government for 18 months according to them. So for him coming out now for media chat is too late. That is just too late, because people put in democracy, you do what people want you to do. The masses want you to do. You don't do what you want, what you feel, what you feel to do. You do what people ask you, the masses, the country that put you in that position want you to do. So I really take note, and my attention, that place caught my attention. So Kenneth has said it all. He has said a lot of things, even he was even blaming the journalists that were there to interview him when Tinubu make a statement and say, tell me any of my minister that is not doing well. So Kenneth has illustrated that so minister, he did not do well, so they're supposed to put it to him and say so minister did not do well. And in terms of security, Tinubu was boasting that before when he was campaigning for his presidency ambition, that he have to pause the campaign and go visiting people that lost their loved one. He was going visiting condolence to people that lost their loved one. But in his own regime, there is nothing like that, which means security is working. His security agent, they are working very, 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 very well. So they are working very, very well. So Kenneth now is telling us, counting from the day Tinubu sit as a president, how many people has spied through bandit, how many people has spied through kidnapping, how many people, so the journalist supposed to put it to him that, Mr. President, this is no matter anything, everybody would not be like people, even the journalists, their life too, they value their own life. They cannot go there and sit down and start challenging Mr. President. All of us know what is happening, what can happen in Nigeria. So they have to take precaution too in asking him a lot of questions. Not that they don't know all those things, but they have to be careful on how they chat with him. He's a president, yes. So all those stuff, like him saying that, Kenneth still make a point there that for him saying that you have to cut your coat according to your size, or cut your coat according to your clothes, yes. So Kenneth, that you cannot, so Kenneth make a point that he is telling us that we should cut our coat according to our size, while him as a leader is driving the most expensive car in Nigeria that costs Nigeria so much money. So why must he sit there and tell us to cut our coat? He is the leader. They say leader by example. He's supposed to show us that example, not him living a lavish life with Nigeria money. Then he's telling us to cut our coat according to our sizes. Okay, my beautiful people. What did you people think about this video? So for Mr. Onokpasa, hi God, this man, let me this cough rest. Let me even pray for this man first. You see this man? This man is APC. He's an APC member of APC, or candidate of APC. For this man coming out, I know it was, even when you guys saw the way he was talking, it was really hard for him. But since he's an elderly man, he have to speak the truth. This is the first time I'm seeing a APC member coming out to speak the truth. Oga, Mr. Onokpasa, God will bless you. You will live long. You will carry your great grandchildren for speaking the truth. God will lift you up. I have never seen, I was so shocked. Although the man was like stammering, he didn't want to come, even when they were telling him that your government is failed, he was trying to defend. No, I did not say, but that is what it is. I don't blame the man. I know that this thing that he said, I don't know what will happen to him. I don't know, because he even say even their party, they are not happy the way things are going, you know, for people going out to buy because of just rice and 5,000 naira. That is terrible. He has been the worst. That he even put the blame on his own self, that they didn't try, that they are not trying at all. You know, they even asked him that, did you think that what Tinubu were praising himself, is it right? He said no. He said for him, it's no. He has not seen anything that Tinubu has done. And this is APC. And they are the people that were campaigning for Tinubu to be in that position. Yes, my beautiful people. Hey, a lot in this video you have seen. I don't know what to say, because in Nigeria, nobody should allow Nigeria to happen to him. This is a country. And they have said, Tinubu was even boasting that the organization of those stampede was not well organized. That is why people are buying. That he has been doing donation charities whom he has been giving since 25 years of his 10 or 25 years. He has been giving. Nothing like that has happened. But you forgot that this thing happened in when you were president. So this is going to be a mark, you know, how did they used to say itself in English, my people? Correct me in the comment section. Is it a mark or what? That this is also year when Tinubu was president, this is what happened, you know. So it will be something that will be following you, something that will be on your shoulder. That is what people would be reminded of. Anyway, my beautiful people, a lot in this video, so I don't know you know what you people think about this video. Please drop your own opinion in the comment section. You know, let's interact. Thank you very much for those that always come back to watch my video. God bless every one of you. For my subscribers, thank you. I really appreciate every one of you. And if you know that you have been watching and you have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Just subscribe, like the video, share if possible. Just give me that courage to do more. Thank you, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye for now.